What's up, everybody? This is Slowjams4life, and I'm here with another Hidden Gems interview. Today, I got a special guest with me who goes by the name of Jutin Garner. And if you have not heard of him yet, hopefully this interview encourages you to go check him out. I've been a fan of this brother for, I would say, like 2 years now.
Thank
Been
you.
posting him on my page, both page. I got two platforms. Been posting them on R&B Plug and Slowjams4life. So it's an honor to have him on here. So welcome, Jutin. How's it going, brother?
I appreciate that, man. I'm doing good, man. It's a good day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you again for hopping on here. And you probably don't know this, but I really don't interview that many people. Well,
Okay.
artists.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't interview that many artists because I started this page because I just love R&B. So I didn't think I was gonna get into interviewing people. It just, I was just like, man, I would like to talk to artists that I'm interested in, that
Yeah.
I'm a fan of their music. So definitely an honor to have you on here.
And I appreciate you for having me, bro. I really do.
Yep. Yep. All right. So let's get into give a little quick backstory of where you're from and how you got started in music.
For sure. So I'm from a small town in Louisiana called Plaquemine. And Plaquemine is very close to Baton Rouge, just like 10 minutes from Baton Rouge. People who are not from Louisiana, it is about 30 minutes from New Orleans. So very in close proximity to New Orleans. And I grew up singing in the Baptist church. So at age 11, I sung in the church choir, and I feel like that really gave me the strength and the talent to be a singer songwriter. And all the good R&B singers, the ones that can actually sing, are born and raised in the church. So that's where I'm from. That's me in a nutshell. I've had the honor of songwriting for different artists, performing all across the world, which I'm so thankful for. Having music go number one overseas, which is incredible. And I feel like we're finally scratching the surface here in the US to turning people on to who I am and what I'm about.
Dope, dope. I was looking at some of your older catalog, and
Yeah.
I think the first, correct me if I'm wrong, the first song you released was like in 2015 or something like that.
Yeah. 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 It was.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. But
Yeah.
so you've been putting in work for a minute. So tell me about that, releasing that first song, and how has that journey been till now? You say you're finally kind of like scratching the surface
Exactly.
in the US.
So I feel like in the very early stages of my music, I was crafting who I was and what I wanted to be. Of course, in R&B and in pop, there's so many different established artists, and I'm always compared to like all of the top R&B artists that are out at the time. And so early on, I was trying to find exactly who I was and what I wanted to talk about. And then now, fast forward to 2023, 24, I know exactly who I am, what I want to sing about, what I want to sound like in terms of production and understanding exactly who I am. So it's been a long journey, man. Sat down with a couple of labels along that journey, different managers, all that good stuff. But at my core, I'm an artist and I'm all about just creating what I want to create and handling things on my terms. So that's been the journey, definitely.
Okay. Are you I didn't I was looking for like interviews and stuff. You don't have many interviews up
Ex-
that I could see.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, so
Are you
I feel like
are you signed, or are you
I'm
like strictly indie?
strictly indie.
Okay. Man,
Strict,
that's dope because you be I didn't know that you was like releasing. So I think the main, I gotta look up the project that I kind of like heard for the first time, but it was the one that I think Infinite,
yes, yes.
that project. That I think that was like last year or a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know you had released more stuff after that. So I say all that to say you be, putting in work and putting the projects out.
Yes.
Um, is it hard being a independent artist, like doing everything yourself? Because I noticed that you also put out videos, and I know it costs money to do all that. Like, can you talk about the challenges that an indie artist face with all those type of things?
Yeah, yeah. So being independent, the journey is longer. It's a a tougher journey, but it's so much more rewarding because you get to basically, I guess, reap the benefits. You get to own who you are. You get to create how you want to create. You get to express the music how you want to, and that was something that was always really important to me. What's funny, you were saying you had checked out Infinite, and that was a couple of years back, and now people are finally catching up to speed. When you're indie, things move slightly slower in terms of discovery because of the fact that the work an independent artist puts in, we're competing against artists who are signed to major labels who have this $1 million budget that we have to compete with. And so a lot of indie artists are really turned on to new fans through grassroots, through interviews like this, and through just like putting themselves out there online. So I feel like because of the fact that I like to be consistent and I challenge myself to just keep growing and keep striving for the best, I'm always attracting new fans, new opportunities, and even a couple of labels recently this year have reached out. And I can't wait to share news on that towards the end of the year to see, how that pans out. But being an independent artist is tough at times because, like, you are literally, I have a small team, and it's all a team of people who I've grown with, who, a team of producers, road agents, support coordinators, and we all just sit down every week and just talk about, like, how can we progress what we're doing, because of the fact that all of what you're hearing and all of what you're seeing, it is all independent. Like, it is from my mind to pen and paper to production to songwriting to touring to performances, like, that's all coming from not a major label. So I'm really proud to say that. But at the same time, it's a lot of work, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive because, like I said, a lot of the people I interview are probably like indie, but I can tell when somebody's actually like doing the videos, putting
Yeah,
out these releases, and just touring. Like, I can imagine how much money that takes. So, I mean, your music is definitely getting heard because
thank
it found its way to me
you.
like
Yeah,
randomly. And I
yeah.
can't remember 100% how I found you, but usually, so how I find a lot of artists, like, I'll just go on Spotify sometimes,
Yeah,
and then I'll just type in random names. Like, I'll type in a J and I'll see what comes up. I don't know if that's how I found you, but I found a bunch of artists that way. I'll type in like random letters, and
yeah.
then I'll see a picture and I'm like, okay, they look like an R&B singer now. I'll just listen to their music. Yeah, I found a
Yeah,
few people, or I'll have like a playlist, and then they'll recommend songs like that sound similar or whatever, and then I'll just make my rounds that way. And I heard a song I liked, and I was like, well, let me see what else he has.
yeah.
So I have, like, I kid you not, I'll show you. I have a bunch of songs of yours saved to my Spotify. I don't know
That's
if you probably can't see it, but it says it's 35 songs saved.
that's what I'm. Hey,
Yeah, yeah. So
that's what,
definitely a fan.
yeah,
But yeah, man, keep doing your thing. Like I said, slowly but surely you'll get there
yeah,
to reach the masses. And like I said, I'm doing my part and try to spread your music out there. So
yeah,
hopefully,
yeah.
if you can get one fan from it, I feel like I did my job. So
Yeah,
that's
man,
good.
and I appreciate that too. And your platform is so dope because it's such like an ode to R&B. Like, everything you post, man, it's like reminding people what R&B is and where it's going. And, like, I love that, man. I
Yeah,
love that.
appreciate it. Yeah, like I posted throwbacks, but like I said, I feel like as we have a job to do as far as like the R&B platforms. Like, we
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
just show love to the old artists. We also have to, show love to the new artists as well.
exactly,
And I
exactly.
so yeah. All right, so I want to ask you, name 3 R&B albums that, like, there's this thing going around, 3 albums to get to know me,
Yeah,
right? So what would be your 3 R&B albums that you would say, like, okay, these are like define me, or that I'm people know me by these albums?
yeah, man. So 3 albums by myself, correct?
Yeah, R&B albums, yep.
Yep. 3 R&B albums.
Other than yours, not yours, of
Okay,
course,
other
but
than mine. All
right.
right. So Michael Jackson Thriller, for
Okay.
sure. And just because of the fact that he, as an artist, was striving to be, international. Like, he was taking R&B to, like, this this worldwide type of like soundscape. He was bringing different sounds at that time, like that was unheard of. So definitely Michael Jackson Thriller. Uh, I'm not sure the exact title of this particular album, but Earth, Wind, and Fire. It will be the album with September. Um, it was so many hits that came from that era from Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I feel like that band and like that whole uh, group truly defined like my vocal delivery, if that makes sense. Like it really made me want to create music that resonated with people lyrically at the same time, but it also delivered vocals. And Lionel Richie's, I call it the greatest hits album, but pretty much like everything with the Commodores, like everything that was written by Lionel Richie just resonate really well with me because of the fact that he was R&B, but then he also had a touch of pop and mainstream in there too at the time. And he was a songwriter. And I always gravitated a lot to artists who wrote their own songs. Uh, the comparison that I get nonstop all day, every day is to Usher. And
Let's ask you about that.
yeah. So I'll save that. I'll save that. But Usher is definitely there. Justin Timberlake, I like his earlier albums as well. And so I feel like a lot of that defined a lot of my trajectory. Definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't expect you to take it back all the way. For
Yeah.
some reason, I thought you was gonna go like something more newer, like a lot of people say Confessions and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so yeah, so about the Usher comparisons, because
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about that.
Yes.
I also got that like on some songs. I'm like, man, he sounds just like Usher.
Yeah.
Um, how do you feel about that? Those comparisons, and is it like does it hinder you in a way
Yeah.
when people say that? Like, oh, or people may say like he's trying to sound like Usher, which I just think is your voice. You can't
Exactly.
help what you sound like.
Exactly. Exactly. What's
What are
so
your thoughts on that?
yeah, what's so crazy about this man? And I tell people this story all the time. I was 11 years old and I sung Silent Night at my church. And I've always had this tone and this voice that was very similar to Usher even before like I knew who Usher was. So my mom, single mom growing up, she played this album. It was an older album. She was like, "You sound like this person," and I was like, I was so young. I was like, I have no idea who this artist is. And then like as I got older, people would say like, "Oh, you sound a lot like this person." And it's what's so crazy is that it is not intentional at all. It
Mm.
is not something that was. Um, I love Usher and I love his discography, but my mom had me on Earth, Wind and Fire, Lionel Richie, Maze and Frankie Beverly. So we would be in car rides on my way to school, and she was playing like all the oldies. And so I guess because Usher's voice is so mature and he's been such an icon in the game. Some kind of way, my voice uh, just gets compared to this a lot. As far as hindering in the past, it used to really get to me because I would, I'm from Plaquemine, Louisiana. That is a long way from Atlanta. That is a long way from Los Angeles, California, or any music mecca. So, like, I'm literally down here in the South going to the studio in between college and in between classes and writing and recording music and releasing it and having it chart and like doing the whole nine. And then every, time I would get that comment, be like, oh, he sounds like Usher or he sounds like a young Usher. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about this because I'm not trying at all to sound like this, but God gave me this voice and this talent to use, and He gave me this talent to write my own songs, and He also gave me a talent to be able to market myself and to create on this really high end level. So it used to really get to me, and then now I take it as a huge compliment because of the fact that people are going to compare you to something. And I would rather someone compare me to a living icon and somebody who is a pioneer of R&B than to just be like, oh, he's all right. Oh, I don't mind the comparison now, but I know, who I am, and I know that I'm the one that goes to the studio and writes these songs and vocal produces and records and does all of that. So that's where I am with it.
Like, the more people listen to you, I think they'll kinda know, like, okay, he's his own person. I hear it in
Yeah.
some songs, but then in some songs you sound, it's just you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can't help but to think, like, sometimes have you heard Usher's new album?
Yeah. Yeah. I have. I have.
So, this is, just my opinion,
Yeah.
but I was just like, "Man, if he had somebody like Justin Garner writing
Yeah.
his song, this is the type of music he should be making." Like, some of these songs that you have, I'm like, Usher should be,
Yeah.
because he's making these songs, he's trying to to me, it seems like he's trying to go younger, where he
Yeah.
should be, like, more mature, but that's just my opinion. But,
Yeah.
yeah, enough of the the
Yeah.
Usher talk, but I did wanted to ask because somebody else had that comment on one of the posts I did. It's like, "Yeah, he sounds like Usher."
Crazy. And to close out that Usher comment, it would honestly be a dream to get in the studio and work on some music with Usher. I've gotten a lot from different labels and managers like, oh, if you could write a song for Usher, we can get you in the studio and blah 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 blah. And for some reason, it just never happened. So
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why, but if the opportunity definitely presented itself, I would be all on that for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be dope. That
Oh
would
yeah.
be dope.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about, like, your songwriting process.
Yes.
Like, because I noticed a lot of the song, well, not a lot, but a majority of his songs are about love, and it
Yeah.
seems like about heartbreak.
Yes.
So where does the inspiration come from? Is
So
it like
honestly, yeah,
no, no, go ahead.
it comes from a variation of my own personal experiences to uh, stories I've heard through family or through close friends, different things that they're going through. And then honestly, like some of the stuff, I have a lot of fans that were really tapped into me very early on overseas. And like I would see how they would use my music in, back then it was musically before it was TikTok. And so I would see all these like fans from in Japan and the UK that would do these little video montages with my music. And I was like, okay, so this is how they relate to this. And so my songwriting process really will always, you know, veer towards love and compassion and feelings and emotions. And you really won't really hear like a club banger from me. It's just not like who I am, personally. So I try to create music that embodies who I am and what I'm about. So that's really my process, definitely, to make sure that I'm creating moments of emotion and soulfulness.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, whatever is you, don't change that, because I
Yeah,
know, like, you signed to a label,
yeah,
they're gonna be pushing for certain things, but
yeah,
I definitely love, don't get me wrong, I like, the trap, soul, R&B, I
yeah,
like that too from certain artists, but I think there's a void in artists that make R&B about love and just being vulnerable. So I definitely like that you're tapping into that in your music. Like, a
exactly,
lot of songs I could actually relate to. We're gonna
exactly.
touch on some of them too. I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask you on some of them, but yeah, a
uh,
lot of songs I can relate to. So, um, you said you wrote songs for people. Is there any like songs that, I mean, I didn't Google the credits. Is there any songs that you wrote that's out that somebody may know, like people may know?
so I was a part of two writing camps, and I can't say the artist's name because just because of NDAs, but
Oh, okay.
they are two really big pop and R&B female artists, and I had the opportunity to kind of connect with them and write with them and be in the room with them and just kind of get their vibes. And it was really, really incredible to just be in that space. It was a lot of dope producers in the room. Victoria Monet was one of the writers in the room at that time, and she is so huge now. And she's
Yeah.
so down to earth and so incredible. Man, like just a breath of fresh air. And her story, even as a songwriter, she has been putting in work for years. And I
Yeah.
mean, like people have just, you know, gotten hip to who she is and what she's about. So that was just inspiring to see someone who was in the same writing camp as I come up like that, and that person faced, you know, the comparisons and the criticisms and all that stuff too. But you know, seeing another songwriter persevere through that and become this star, you know, that's really incredible too. But I've had a chance to work with some of your favorites. If I can give one hint, this artist, she has one of the most anticipated albums. She has not released music in quite some time, but fans are like dying for it. And I'm praying that the music that that I've done
Gets
makes
on there.
makes the cut when it releases. So
Dope.
on that, but that, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Yeah, dope. That's what's up. All right. So if you can write a song for anybody, well, I know you mentioned Usher.
Yeah.
Like who would you pick?
It would definitely be Beyonce. Like
Yeah.
definitely. And what's crazy, if anyone wants to know who I'm a big fan of, or who inspires me today, and if they wanted to compare me to somebody, if they would say, oh, he wants to be like some, like, I love Beyonce, bro. Like, I think the way she releases music, creates music, is just, I feel like every artist should be taking notes. Like at this point, like this is the first time I think in a long time we've had an artist of that nature. And I don't know if we'll get another like Beyonce type moment again with someone else. So it would definitely be Beyonce for sure.
Yeah, my girl is like the hugest Beyonce fan.
Yeah.
Like I've never met somebody be a bigger fan than her. But yeah, she's amazing. I think I kind of feel like she's underappreciated, if that's a thing, because
Yeah.
she's so great.
Yeah.
And it's just like the stuff that she does, like we kind of take it for granted. Like I don't think we'll really appreciate it. Well, most people. I don't
Exactly.
think we'll appreciate it until she's gone.
Exactly.
Yeah. What would you say is the first song that kind of like really took off for you, that made you say like, okay, yeah, this music thing might be something?
Yeah. So it would be a very, very early release of mine. It's called Cherry Bomb. It actually features Black and Mild and Big Frida. Black and Mild and Big Frida are featured on Beyonce's Break My Soul, and also on the Formation album. They're all from New Orleans. And being from Plaquemine, I had a chance to connect with Black and Mild. We worked on the track, and he bounced out a song that I had from my earlier work called Cherry Bomb. And so that started just playing in every club in the South. Like it just took off. Like it was definitely like a New Orleans bounce, you know, club hit here in the South. And so that really, you know, got me on the map here in the South. And as far as like just different performances and on the radar of radio and all that good stuff. And then I wanted to, you know, veer away from that because I was feeling at one point like that is a very small touch of who I am as an artist, and I can do so much more. And you know, I'm R&B, but I have levels to my music. There's pop elements, there are ballad elements, there are, you know, soul elements, and I didn't want to be completely pigeonholed into one particular sound.
That's what I noticed also. Like all of your songs don't sound the same. Like you, like very diverse, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's my taste too. Like I love R&B, but I listen to all kind of stuff. So
Exactly.
if it's good, it's good. So
Exactly.
yeah, I have this new show I'm coming out with called Song Origins, where I'm just gonna be asking people about their songs,
Okay.
some of my favorite songs, and kind of just give me like I guess like a quick little backstory slash, you know, thought process behind it. It doesn't have to be too long. I got some songs written down here, and then if you can remember, you know, the process or whatever, just kind of give me a story. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. The first one, I would say this is probably my favorite one right now. It's called Nice to Meet Me.
Yes. Yes.
I love that song. First, hold on. Let me tell you why I love that song, because I heard it. I be playing that in the gym. Like I listen to R&B in the gym, but man, I was listening to that album, and that's the one that just stuck out to me. And I'm like, man, he's talking about, well, at least this what I got from it is like you kind of lost yourself.
Yes.
And now you're kind of getting back to yourself. And I was like, man, can relate to this because last year, like the last couple years, I've been kind of like on this journey where I'm like finding myself, really just like growing up to. I'll be 40 this year, so I feel like I'm just now coming
Yeah.
into my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that record really spoke to me. So can you tell me like what was your thought process, like the backstory on that record?
Yeah. Like, and Nice to Meet Me was actually written during a time where I finally felt comfortable with just where I was in life. Like, I feel like, again, being an independent artist and having managers and having so many different people like pulling you in different directions, you feel a sense of insecurity about almost everything that you do. So when I worked on Nice to Meet Me, I was like, this is the first time in my life where I feel like who I am is who I am, and what you get is what you get. And I'm happy with who I am. Like, I'm so happy with where I am in life, with family. Uh, I had a new baby girl at that time. Like, it was just like I was just finally feel like I was just there. And what's crazy with artists and this music industry in general, they'll have you in so many different directions. Like when I was under uh, signed to different entities or whatever, they were always trying to tell me what type of song not to make and what type of song to do, and who my competition was, and all this kind of stuff. And like that really plays with your head for a long time as an artist. Like, you're like unsure sometimes of like what kind of song do I release first. And then being fully independent and having people that follow my lead, and having a team that follows what I want to do. I was at this point now where like this is a song, like I'm so happy to meet Justin.
Mm.
Like, I'm so happy to meet who I am. So that's exactly what that song was about.
Yeah, dope. Well, yeah, thank you for that record. That's a dope one. I play it often. That's one of
Yeah,
my favorites.
I
All
appreciate
right. Yep. All right. Let's see. What else I want to ask you about? All right, let's do a love song to myself. I like
it.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kind of
man.
like that. Is that kind of like the same vein as Nice to Meet Me?
It
Yeah.
is. It
Yeah.
is. So love song to myself, I was like, I realized I had written so many songs that were just like love songs about, you know, the girl that I lost, or someone that was heartbroken, or, the person that felt unappreciated. But I was like, I need an actual love song for me. Like, I was like, I need something that when I want to play something to where like I feel like it is all about me. Like, I do it for me. Like, the lyrics in that are, everything I do it all for you. But the one that's hurt, a piece of me I lose. So like it was saying like a piece of me I lose when I don't do something for myself. So I was like, I gotta start moving for myself, man. And that's where that song came about. And what's crazy on TikTok now, I think it's in like, I don't know how many, like over 20,000
Oh, it's
TikTok,
taking off.
yeah, TikTok videos. Like, people just got the clip and they're doing like their selfies, and the ladies are getting ready to go out, whatever. Like, they're just like
Mhm.
feeling themselves off of this song, and I'm like, that is exactly what it's for. Like, this is
Yeah.
like your own personal anthem.
Yeah, yeah, that song is dope. Like I
Yeah,
said, your pen game is. I'm not a songwriter, but I like I have this goal. Like one day I want to write an R&B song, but
yeah,
I don't know how to write an R&B song. But I just think that I have good ideas. But
yeah,
so when I hear a song that I think is written well, or like in a way that's not written before, like I tip my hat to it. So like a lot of your songs are written very well. It's
thank,
not like basic songwriting.
yeah.
So I think that's another reason why I like you as an artist, because I'm like, okay, like the way you're writing is just, not everyone could write like this.
I
So
appreciate it, man.
yeah,
Thank you,
props to your songwriting.
thank you.
All right. Let's get into Bloom is one that I
Yes,
like also. Can you
yeah,
tell me about that song?
yeah. Bloom is when you are in that new relationship and like everything just feels good. Like, you're blooming into something so much more than what it was intended to be. So that one, the production on it is very like swingy, it's very like slow, but then it like builds and it's very like, just soulful. That's exactly where that comes from. Like, I wanted that particular song to feel like something that was actually growing. Like I wanted the soul and the vibe of that song to grow as you go throughout the song. So yeah, that's one of my favorites too, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if you do this intentionally, but I feel like you have a lot of songs that are just. I think the word is sync. Is it syncs where they you get
Yes.
to play it in the? Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of music for that. Is that done intentionally, or is it just that's just how? Because I feel like this song could be in an
Yeah.
actual
Yes.
movie or a series.
Yes. You know what's crazy, man? I listen to a lot of, Sam Smith, Adele. I love big ballads and I love big R&B ballads. So I was like, when I was writing that particular song, I always saw like that song in a movie and a couple of other songs that I have. Like, I always think of like, how big can I go? Like, instead of doing, like a trap song or whatever, or, whatever, if I have the vocals, I want to showcase those vocals and like I want to make sure like I'm singing and people can feel it to where when they hear it, they're like, yeah, I can see this like in a romance scene or something. And that's exactly, I guess you can say it is intentional.
Yeah, yeah. That song is dope. I didn't
Yeah.
post that. I gotta post that one on the page. I haven't. I
Oh
think
yeah.
I was listening to some of your songs. I was trying to go back and see which ones I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
And I think Bloom was one I was kind of listening to today. I'm like, damn, how did I miss this one?
Right.
That one is really good. Okay, I asked you about Prom Night. I like that song too. Prom Night.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of self-explanatory, but
Oh yeah.
was that inspired by anything?
I feel like with prom night, I wanted people to, when you think of prom night, everybody has like a memory of like high school. And like in high school, this is when like your feelings are finally like revved up. Like, you got that first, your girlfriend or your boo, and you're like, oh yeah, like it's just a feeling. Like once
Mhm.
you even have any like memory of high school, you think of like, man, time was good back then. Like this was like a good time. And so when I thought about that feeling, I wanted to create that moment of like when you step from from high school onto adulthood, and that's prom night. Everybody has that moment. Everybody has that first kiss at prom night. They get their first dance. That was the moment when a lot of people just kind of let loose finally. So that's exactly what prom night is about.
Again, songwriting. This is what I mean by songwriting. He could have just said it in a different way, but he's painting the picture for you. And
Yes.
now you get a perfect picture like, oh, okay, yeah. So
Yes.
that's what I mean by great songwriting. Okay, cool. So I got a couple more that I want to run through.
Okay.
Let's do Cry on Me.
Yes.
Cry on Me. What
Yes.
was the thought process behind that one?
Family.
Mm,
Family, bro. Like that was right when I had my brand new baby girl, and I was like, whatever she goes through, like I thought about like when she gets older and she's living life, and when she's facing like storms and difficult moments, I want her to know that she can always come to me to cry on me. And then that translated into just women in general. Like sometimes, especially Black women, they bear the weight of the world like on them. And I say that because my mom, single mom, my dad passed away when I was 2, and she literally, man, was like working 2 jobs. She was like just doing whatever to like make us successful. And
mm.
so I wanted to make sure like sometimes a woman needs to hear a song to where they get to cry on somebody and not have to always be like so strong all the time. Like they are, vulnerable creatures, so they deserve to be, pampered, and they deserve to be attended to like that.
Yeah. That's another beautiful record. Yeah. How
Thank
old
you.
is your daughter? I got a daughter too.
She's one.
She's one? Oh, okay.
One. Yes.
Yeah. Did you want a daughter first or did you want a son?
Believe it or not, bro, I want all girls.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I grew up in a family of nothing but brothers. So it's like we need some little girls in here that we could pick up and kiss. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like we don't. I don't. I got nothing but brothers. So I'm like, yeah, we need some little girls.
Yeah. The reason why I asked you that is because so I have two. I have a son and a daughter, but
Okay.
I always wanted a son. And then the daughter, I was just like, well, if it's in the cars, but I always wanted a son. So I
Yeah.
got my daughter first. And I was thinking, like, man, I was happy, of course, because it was a baby. And I was like, as long as it's healthy. But in my head, I was just like, how am I gonna connect with
Yeah.
a girl?
Yeah.
But now she's 7, about to be 8. And I'm like, man, this is God knew what he was doing,
Yeah.
because is it exactly what I needed? Like, because like, yeah, she's basically what I want in a woman, but she's, my daughter. Like
Exactly.
the unconditional love, just, and I was just like, just blown away. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you're feeling that now, but you might feel that when she gets older. It's like she's like girl dad.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's the love that I don't think a boy could necessarily give you, even though my son is, we cool, but yeah.
Yeah.
So congrats on the baby, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kids are wonderful. Has that like inspired like your music, or gave you like a new outlook on things?
It does, because now it means like I want to make sure for sure whatever I create now, you know, speaks to women in just a good light. Like I don't ever want her as she gets older to go back and look on YouTube, if YouTube is in existence, and be like, what was my dad talking about? And then I had a song that was like, about, I got this chick on the side and I got this other chick. Like I don't want her to be like, oh,
Yeah,
like I want her to be like, my dad was creating, a legacy and creating, vibes that spoke to women. So I think that would be really important for her, for sure.
yeah, yeah. I remember at the time my daughter was born, I was DJing at a strip club,
I mean,
and yeah, and I was like, yeah, I gotta quit this because eventually
right,
she's gonna ask me where you work, and I just wasn't ready
right, right, right.
to answer those questions. So yeah, kids definitely change you.
Oh
All
yes.
right, let me see. Do we got? All right, let's do this last one. And this is called Red Hot.
Okay, yes.
But tell me about that one.
Red Hot is strictly about love making.
Mm,
Strictly about it. It's I feel like it's straightforward, but at the same time, like I wanted that particular song just to sound like just like fire. Like I wanted it to sound like just some red hot passion, and I feel like people connected with that song a lot too. That one was featured on Spotify as Fresh Finds R&B, Apple Music New and R&B. Uh,
mm.
so all of the DSPs, man, were like on it, and that was a really really big moment. I feel like for me, another song too that got people looking, at Justin Garner. Surprisingly, I didn't get the Usher comparison on that particular song, but I think that was a moment people were just like, the song was so needed, and it was so R&B, and like people were just like yeah, I guess bump the comparisons, because I would get Jason Derulo stuff comparison too.
Yeah. Hmm.
With that one, people were just like, who is this that's singing this? Like, and where is he? So that was another song too that really popped off.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Um, how do you like, so the DSPs getting on the editorial playlist? I always wondered, is it something that they just pick a random song, or do you have to like pay for that?
No, that's some kind of way. I guess the curators are just kind of like peeping what people are listening to, or like what's going on out in social media, and they just kind of get hip to you some kind of way. So
Oh,
I also, to my distributors that I work with, are AWOL and Nvidia, and they are label services type of distributors. So they're like record labels, but like for indies, if that makes
okay.
sense.
Yeah.
And they were connecting with a lot of the DSPs and just talking to them on my behalf, like saying, "Hey, we got this artist, yes, this music X, Y, and Z," and then people are just getting hip to it. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much how that happened.
Okay. Is radio is still important to you, being on the radio?
It is. So radio is a big important factor. The only thing about radio, uh, you would take one song and that you would live with that song for like a while, and you would just have to run with that one song for probably 1 or 2 years. And I just didn't want to halt my creative process to just take one song and run with it for that long. And the reason why I release music so frequently is because I want people to just connect with the vibes. Like, people are gonna like, this song over another and X, Y, and Z. But as I create, especially in this new era that I'm in, as I create, I just want to just put a single out and let people hear where I'm at in that moment versus then compile a full album this year and just give them a whole album. Like I just want them, as I'm connecting and working on pieces of music, I want you to have that piece the minute I'm done with it as I move to the next level. So, but yeah, radio, long story short, radio is definitely important still.
Okay. What's your thoughts on the current state of R&B?
Oh man. So I feel like R&B is is there are a lot of great artists that are out. I feel like as far as pushing R&B to the mainstream and getting it back to the forefront, it takes an effort and it takes a lot of marketing support. Typically, there's more that has to go into pushing an R&B record, but the industry is just so saturated with so much music coming out. But the current state, I feel like, is in good hands. I feel like you're finally getting to a point now to where you're seeing uh, independent artists come more to the forefront. You know, for the longest, R&B and just in general music was kind of like this gatekeep thing to where you would have labels that would push out this particular artist and you would kind of hear what they wanted the sound to be. And then you would have, you know, underground and independent artists who were like just killing the R&B game. Like Victoria Monet was one that was under the radar for so long. And now, you know, with On My Mama and the different music she's released, now people are finally starting to hear singing again. Like at one point, R&B went this weird trap direction, and
Yeah.
the people who were in that lane, but like it was so much of it at some point to where like people were starting to forget that there are singers who sing R&B. Like there are people who actually perfect their voices and have, you know, vocal training to record records to put out. So I feel like R&B is finally getting back to the state of creating soulful music and just delivering vocals for sure.
Yeah. Who's some of the artists, modern artists that you like right now?
Uh, Kenyon Dixon is one. Uh, I would say Victoria Monet for sure. Uh, I still love Alicia Keys. I love even her newer work. I feel like she's super dope. Ari Lennox is incredible. Coco Jones is incredible. Uh, so many different just upstarts. I think on the indie side for R&B, I like Lion Babe. I think it's a I don't know if they're husband and wife, but they're definitely a guy and a girl. They do a lot of soulful type music. But those are definitely like my picks for sure.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
I like Kenya. Yep.
Yeah,
All the artists you named. Lion Babe, I gotta check them out. I'm not really too tapped
yeah,
in with them.
yeah. They're really good. It's more experimental R&B, but I like all types of R&B. So yeah, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll check them out.
yeah.
Last question I'll leave you with. What do you want people to take away from your music?
What I want people to take away from my music is just understanding that I'm a vocalist and a songwriter. So when you're hearing the music, I want you to know that it was one person that went in the studio with one producer that recorded this, that wrote it, that vocal produced it, that mixed it, that did everything and put it out. So like when you hear it, I want you to know like it's homegrown, like it's all organic, it's all done with one pen. And
Yeah.
I hope that just the talent alone of that process and just hearing the vocals and hearing the songwriting, I want people to understand like this is music that is meant to move you. So that's what I want them to take away from it for sure.
Okay. Dope, dope. All right. Now before I go, I want to play this game with you.
Okay.
It's called R&B ABCs.
Okay.
Easy game. So basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna start at A and then we're gonna see how far you get, but you have to name whatever artist comes to mind, but it has to be an R&B artist. So like if I throw out A,
Okay.
you can name whatever artist that starts with A. And then I just want to see how far you get.
Okay.
Obviously it's off the top. So I don't expect you to, get to Z, but if you do, that would be impressive. I
Okay.
did it. This is the third time I'm doing this, so
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
see how far you get.
Let me get my
All right,
mic.
and I'll give you like, after I say the letter, I'll give you like 5 seconds. I count in my head, and then we'll just see.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right, cool. All right, so A.
Avant.
Okay. B.
Beyonce.
C.
Case.
D.
Ah, man. D'Angelo.
E.
Ah, oh man. Can't think of anybody.
Now, okay. E. All right, let me see. I can't even think of nobody off the top. I gotta type in. Let me see. Who was people saying? Eric Bellinger is one.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
man. For sure.
yeah. All right. Cool, man. That was cool. This is a new game I'm testing out. I just want to see, what comes to people's mind. But yeah, Justin, let people know where they can find you at social media and stuff like that.
For
And then,
sure. So on Instagram at the Justin Garner. That's THE Justin GARNER. On Facebook, official Justin Garner. On TikTok, the Justin Garner. On Twitter, Justin Garner. And all of this is on my website at justingarner.com. You can find me there. Upcoming shows, I am opening for Chrisette Michelle and Life Jennings in Baton Rouge coming up this summer. Also probably going to be hitting Essence Festival again this year, and just really excited. So stay connected with me, stay a part of what's going on with me. And I just can't wait to just share more music and create more vibes.
love to catch you on tour whenever you come out here. And man, thank you for doing this interview again. Like I said, please check out his music. He's a really dope artist. And I pride myself on getting on the artists before they really blow up. So I have a feeling you're gonna be another one where I'm like, yeah, I was trying to put y'all on years ago. So but yeah, man, thank you again for doing this. And if there's anything else you want to say, if not, then we'll end it like that.
For sure, man. I just want to thank you for taking the time to have me. Everybody who's watching, make sure to connect with me at justingarner.com, on Instagram at the Justin Garner. Yeah, and thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. All right. Slowjams4life signing out. Wizzy. Wow.